Santa Barbara is not immune to the humanitarian crisis of homelessness. Most recently, the 2020 point-in-time count identified 914 homeless individuals on the streets in Santa Barbara. Past efforts have not always been successful, but now an organization called SB Act has helped to develop a more collaborative focus to address the issue.
The Santa Barbara Alliance for Community Transformation organization formed many years ago. The main focus is work and collaboration with our marginalized populations. But the premise of our approach is collective impact. So it is a research-based and evidence-based approach to effective coordination and collaboration to address complex social systems and issues.
SB Act saw the need for building collaboration and collective action among service providers in regards to the homeless crisis in Santa Barbara.
Most families or individuals experiencing homelessness, they might have 8 or 10 agencies working with them. So if we're not all working together and on the same page, we're either duplicating or people are falling through gaps.
SB Act was developed to be the glue that would help all the different agencies work together for the same goal: housing individuals and providing supportive services.
Our mission statement is we exist to equip the community to lovingly engage marginalized people. And what that really comes down to in the city is working with not only nonprofits and businesses, but government agencies, faith communities, anyone that really wants to get involved around a social issue. We gather them, and rather than them working in silos or working on certain projects, we say, what is the big picture and how do we all work together, streamline our resources, and really solve the issue that's at hand.
Through streamlining resources, they have been able to make impressive headway, not only through collaborating, but through listening. Listening to agencies, the Santa Barbara community, and also those who are experiencing homelessness to move toward solutions.
Homelessness feels like something we can solve. We have 1,900 individuals countywide that are experiencing homelessness. We have 914 individuals in our city experiencing homelessness. It feels like a number we should be able to tackle. And I think everyone dives in with that perception. But not only are the underpinnings of what cause homelessness many and diverse, from low wages, lack of affordable housing, mental health issues, substance abuse issues, but also the system in which we have to work in is also as complex. So where the funding's coming from at all levels, federal, state, local communities, how much the local jurisdiction or the city should be invested and involved in, and staffing capacity alone at all of those levels is limited. So I think as we prioritize homelessness as a crisis now, it's really helpful for us to have that level of focus and spotlight on it. And it's allowing people to be more motivated and more steadfast in their engagement. But again, we're still dealing with the complexity of the system.
SB Act stepped back and looked at all the angles of the situation in order to figure out what needed to be done, and what, if any, crucial details were being ignored. In addition to the already difficult challenges being faced, the COVID-19 pandemic also threw another curveball at this situation.
When COVID hit, a lot of people on the streets set up encampments wherever they could. There was a lot of tent cities that kind of popped up, and not only was that creating an eyesore on the community, but people were living in uninhabitable places. And so what we did is work with outreach agencies like CityNet, also worked with a lot of our other service providers and partners to not only case manage those individuals, but work with the county and Project Room Key to get those individuals into hotel rooms so that they actually have a shot during this pandemic to not only their health, but start moving through the system. And all of those people were either reunified with their family or moved into a hotel. So it was a win-win-win on every level, and it allowed us to say, look, this is what happens when you work together. Like, everyone kind of ends up with what is not only good and compassionate for people, but what is good for our society as a whole.
Working with agencies and service providers, they were able to overcome these struggles by case managing and building relationships with these individuals. SB Act has learned that case management is key in the process of helping clients move forward.
We have a 3-year kind of common agenda plan to increase our outreach, our housing retention, our housing units. So ultimately it's bringing that number down. So we have a plan right now to help 100 people exit homelessness through all of our regional work. So we have to drop the number, and then we have to help people that are traveling through here get reunified with families or friends early. This thing only kind of works because there's literally 28 partners connected to this Neighborhood Navigation Center. So I really want to give a shout out to all those partners, because this doesn't work if we aren't all working together.
Now that working together closely is a part of the effort, SB Act and their partners are working to create localized regional action plans, which address the specific needs of specific areas and people of the city.
Early on in our collaborative work with the City of Santa Barbara, we developed a State Street Regional Action Plan. And the coordination of that group, utilizing more the ambassadors, which is another critical program the city has invested in, that really have we know what's in our neighborhood, who's there, who's in need. They have that touch base, they give water out, making sure that people feel acknowledged and they feel supported. And when that person's ready, we've now created the links to make sure that they have someone following up that will provide outreach and that will provide case management if they're open to it.
The Regional Action Plan caters to clients on a very individualized level. The outreach teams talk to everyone on the streets to determine what they need. It might be food, mental health services, a shower, clothing, or medical attention.
So Doctors Without Walls is super proud to stand with SB Act. Their regional action plans recognize that homelessness looks different in every neighborhood, and then each neighborhood needs a unique answer to their homelessness.
Homeless clients are being built into through one-on-one interactions, establishing a sense of accountability as well as an understanding of each individual case and neighborhood. The partnership with the City of Santa Barbara has been an important factor in establishing these goals.
They really have reached out to our community. They've helped the city enormously on focusing in on homeless impacts in certain areas within the city. They've created regional action plans, and they've helped the city to develop our strategy for moving forward for the next 3 years. Has been an outstanding partner, and it's very exciting to even just be in these meetings with our community.
Part of the city's involvement, in addition to their partnership with SB Act, is to organize neighborhood cleanups that enhance public safety and their participation by developing funding sources.
I would like the community to know is also the level of commitment and investment that the city is already putting into trying to manage homelessness. Last year, we spent over $4 million collectively across the city, across those 7 different departments. That's fire and police and parks and creeks and environmental services and our streets division in trying to just address and manage the homeless situation here in the city.
Many of those involved in the homeless issues in Santa Barbara have a really important quality that is crucial to their success: awareness of this crisis from multiple perspectives. Not only do they acknowledge different perspectives, but value them as well.
I think in the long term, it's this dynamic of we're all in it together. And we know that as nonprofit service providers, we have one perspective and one view. Business owners have another perspective. Government officials have another perspective. That, in the end, is going to create a much more comprehensive solution than if just one sector is working on the objective at hand.
While those working on the issue are aware of the challenges of solving the crisis, building awareness of the issue is a constant battle.
The city often gets a lot of the complaints from residents and civilians that say, hey, this is an issue. And often what we hear is, why isn't the city doing something about it? And what's interesting is that there's actually city staff. There's a whole priority system of what the city is actually engaging in these issues on. It's just that the public is not really made aware of that. That's why something like this is so important, is that not only do we get to explain, hey, the city is not only actively aware of these things, but they're engaging with them, but we also get to inform the people that lead us of all the the nuance and complexity of these issues so that they're really well versed on it, so that they can make budgeting decisions and funding decisions on that kind of government level that we need. I think one of the things that we really made an effort to do when we started SB Act is develop really good relationships with city council members and the county board of supervisors, and kind of be that in-between person saying, hey, we respect your position of authority, we want you to be informed on these issues, and let us help you not only understand the system and the complexities of the problem, but what is being done in ways that you can be an advocate for the cause.
More education about homelessness will hopefully result in more people helping to solve the problem. It will take compassion as well as energy.
Service-resistant individuals are there, but a lot of individuals are resistant to services because of the trauma that they've experienced either personally or through the system that has let them down. So it does take a lot of engagement, and sometimes it takes that particular opportunity where the person is traumatized again by experiencing homelessness, and that actually leads them to being open to help.
SB Act's efforts try to prevent the cracks in the system that often unintentionally contribute to more trauma experienced by individuals seeking help. Through collaboration, education, and awareness, there is true potential for substantial change.
Our commitment is to reduce the impacts of homelessness in 3 years in a visible and measurable way. And we can do that incrementally over time. So if we can't accomplish something visible as a win in a week, the next week we have a win. We have someone who is housed. We have someone connected to services. This is what keeps us going. This is not a time that we can be on the sidelines. It's time to get in the game and do whatever you feel you can do, because it really is going to take every single one of us to solve homelessness in a way that we create a community that's vibrant, that's safe, that supports one another, and that if anyone is ever in dire need, we're actually able to step in to help them.